this?
Only just, she's fainting. Her vital signs are weak. Please help me.
Can you feel her pulse?
It's very faint. What do I do? I need to help her. Medicine,
Please, before it's too late.
Do you know the patient's name?
She's our mother. Mother up. Mama. Mama. Mama.
Anyways, as I was saying, today I'm having a party in the room, and guess who's gonna be there? Nasty C is gonna be in the house.
A party in our room? Forget it. You and Nasty C, you must go see yourself.
You're so boring.
Hello, Sissy.
Hello, ma'am. How can I help you?
May you please have the key to our room?
What's your room number?
25.
It's actually 35.
There you go.
Bad idea. I have the key.
But I'm having the
Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure you will enjoy the remote parts of the island. It's very beautiful over there.
I hope it's 5-star. Anywho, let me just settle this accountant and I will be on my way.
No problem.
Oh my gosh!
Can I help you, ma'am?
Absolutely not. This is private stuff. Thank you. Don't do that. There you go.
Wow, breaking news. Come see everybody.
2019 novel coronavirus has been linked to a fish and wildlife food market in Wuhan, China. Tens and millions of people in China are now under quarantine. All 31 provinces in China are now infected with this contagion. The World Health Organization is now calling for lockdown of borders to and from China. It is believed that the virus has reached Europe and surrounding holiday destinations in Southeast Asia. Of the people who have died, most are the elderly or those who have had an underlying illness. According to the World Health Organization, this virus incubates for 2 to 14 days before a person shows illness. Resorts, hotels, and cruise ships in hotspots are required to lock down immediately to prevent the spread.
I'm sorry, what does this mean exactly? Lockdown?
I don't know, ma'am, but I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation for this.
No, my darling, I'm sorry, I cannot be trapped on this island. I've got a business to run. You know, time is money. What are you?
Ek sal doodgaan. Wat van die kinders by die huis? En school starts next week.
How cool! Another 2 weeks on the beach? Come, let's put it in gram.
We should never have taken this cruise. I told you, somebody is complete. I had a feeling.
Ek voel jou gevoel kan net spring.
And how are we going to cover the cost to stay here? Are they going to give us money? Yeah, but SA government.
not be locked down on any island, especially not with such. I'm sorry, could you please come and get the boys? Come and get my bags. I'm leaving right now. Oh, sorry, boy, could you please get my bags? I'm leaving right now.
No, ma'am. You are not going anywhere. Everybody come down and take a seat. We need to taste you.
My girls, you know this morning I take the milk, I make it go back. Sissy, would you like some coffee? It's very good for you, it makes you relax.
No, thank you, but yes, I'm both.
Sorry, my darlings. I'm so sorry to disturb, but I'm going to be having a Zoom meeting just now, and I need to hear what they're going to be talking about. May I please lower the volume, but you can carry on with everything. Thank you so much, my darling. No, thank you, my darling.
I'm sorry, doctor. So, if none of us are positive, then why can't we go home? It's been 3 weeks. They said maximum 14 days. I'm not understanding.
Where's this? It's our borders that are closed. In lockdown 5.
No in, no out, my sister. No. The government has to do something about this. They're so useless. So many family meetings. Not enough action.
Hey, yes, my sister. Dada Cyril is doing his best. Can't you? Some people are dying.
I agree with you, my darling. I got kicked out, but never mind that. You know, this coronavirus thing is all part of climate change.
I said the same thing, you know. This weather is causing all sorts of mutations. It's never been there before.
Exactly. And it's all because we don't look after our planet anymore.
That is so true, man. Like all the rhino and the elephant poaching and the whale harpooning and who knows what else. It's all these sick things they eat in the East, hey?
I'm sorry, I meant much more than that. Carbon emissions is simply a fact. How electricity, airplanes and traffic, it reaches us here.
Even in the Pacific.
All your appliance full access to maneuver, left in the plug simply to hoover. Geysers and light bulbs, chargers and dryers, all the oil you use in your fryers.
That's where you're wrong, I'm vegan, you see. Frying my foods, don't accuse me. What you describe is progress of living, or are you stuck in dark ages of ready?
And I know that I need something to bring hope, to bring life and understanding. And I know that I need something to hold on to live for, to believe in, now to cherish.
What was the intention anyway? Original design, intent for this planet we share. Is it not my part to steward its guardian, to nurture and cultivate, repair when broken?
And I know that I need something to bring hope, to bring life and understanding. And I know that I need something to hold on to live for, to believe in, now to cherish. Where did we go wrong? Losing our way, living our lives without any say. How did we ever get to this place? Our lives threaten daily all nature and space. 'Cause we know that we need something to bring hope, to bring life and understanding. And we know that we need something to hold on to live for, to believe in love, to cherish.
It is here,
In our hands,
it's our hope. We take a It's not so far-fetched, you see. Perhaps there are voices around the earth that still need to be heard.
Voices.
Sissy, is there a problem with Uncle Eli?
No. We have black friends, they're very good storytellers, they dance really well too. Often let them come to our dinners, guests love them, beautiful people. Sorry, I was wondering if I could please get some lemonade. We've really got to keep our immune systems up.
I'm sorry, ma'am. We are in lockdown here. Everybody needs to take care of themselves. Our staff are not on official duty. Everybody needs to pull weight around here. Oh, and the lemonade is over there. You may help yourself.
Over there.
Oh, nice, Thomas! Beautiful people come to our dinner parties, never July.
And that is to clean after the party, I'm telling you.
Who is there? Is it you? Or you? Perhaps it's me. Kalantina, I love today!
What voices are you talking about? What voices need to be heard?
Voices from the land. The fish eagle who soars in the sky. The caterpillar who keeps his disguise. The puma who climbs mountains high. The owl in the tree who is very wise. These know the ancient ways. They tell us that we stand at a crossroad and we need to ask of them of the ancient paths.
Please come sit, I want to know more.
See, the ancient paths are here. You just need to search deep. It's in every one of you. One beginning, answers you now look for. But they are forgotten.
Forgotten?
Forsaken too.
There is no ancients in my life, let alone inside of me. No way.
Je vraagt en je zet net foto's op haar TikTok dan.
What ancient path have we forgotten?
Oh, forsaken.
Are you talking about history?
Yes. King Echa. Budinga. Ashalazu.
Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum.
Wait, there is more. Queen Victoria. I got an A for history.
You're so smart.
Very clever. But it's just a lot of dead people.
Ancient paths? Ancient ways? Are you talking about ancient ways?
Ancient ways, they were never intended to be ancient.
He is not corrupt. He is not corrupt. The defect is in his children. The defect is in his children. A crooked and perverted generation. You foolish people. So lacking in wisdom. Is this how you repay your father? Who made you his? It was he who prepared and formed you. Remember how the old days were. Think of the years. All the ask your father. He will tell you. Your leaders too. They will inform you.
Bye!
I think you dropped something.
Job creation.
I know, look at that one. Gosh, we're not touched. Gosh, that's why the pictures doesn't look like they do.
I have gotten. I know what you are talking about. You're talking about the ancient ways of our people, aren't you?
As a omakan.
No, beyond that. Not just your family, all your people.
No, I don't know about all my people. I just know my oma.
Not even your opa? Not your oma?
Ik zie moest ik sa omakan.
Yes, I remember stories Ukoko would tell me about how the world started.
Yes, exactly. It is that. The stories that we carry in our DNA.
Ooh, ik is een hele mingel hoe ze conglomerate.
I got the wall in my
Show them.
You are the first people of the land, the most indigenous. You two must definitely have stories.
Now let's hear your story. Come on.
Okay, Kululek. Nomtakel, please help me tell the story.
Okay, Dabara. You played that with Natasha.
Where Natasha? Natasha, get off your phone. Come and listen to the story, Tombazane. You can learn something about your own heritage. In fact, you can be part of the story.
Habi, Susan, the attitude. Oh, see, that's a tokelos.
Wait. Let me go get some sound effects.
First, there was nothing but darkness.
Call me Escom, lights out.
Earth was a lifeless rock. But in that darkness dwelt Umvelinmangi, a god whose voice was like thunder, and when angered would shake the world with earthquakes. Umvelinmangi created a single tiny seed. He sent it to the earth. This was the very first form of life, from which all other life descended. It landed in the soil and sprouted into a long reed, which fell and dropped more seeds, and they grew into even more reeds. This continued until they covered the land to the north, a massive swamp to the land called Uhlanga.
Like Wakanda.
Yes, Wakanda forever.
At the end of one reed, there grew a man. His name was Ukulunkulu, known as the very first ancestor and the great one.
Adam, don't be ridiculous. Jesus, he was before all these.
Very small at first.
You see, baby Jesus.
He grew so large and so heavy that he snapped off at the end of one reed, walking across the land of Uhlanga.
And now I don't know.
He noticed men and women sprouting at the end of the other reeds. He plucked them off the reed. These were the very first humans, the ancestors of all nations. And they spread across the earth. It was from Uhlanga that the ancestors of the Zulus journeyed south to the fertile lands they inhabit today.
The Great One continued to walk among the reeds. He saw many forms of life growing at the end of it. He gathered fish and flung them into the rivers. Fields and forests began to grow. So he harvested birds and antelopes, and they darted off into the wild. He picked cattle so they could be used by humans. He plucked off a round glowing stone and a big ball of fire and flung them into the sky. And these were the sun and moon. Lights came into the world.
Wow!
The Great One plucked from the reeds fierce lions and other beasts that would go onto the land hunting prey. He harvested magical creatures, some good, but some bad. One was the snake-like goddess of the river, Umamla, rumored by herself to drown people, eat their faces, and suck up their blood.
It's nonsense.
Another goddess was Umbaba Wanawarese, a beautiful woman who created rain and rainbows. She invented farming and gave the Zulus the gift of beer.
Ooh, I like that goddess.
One of the final acts of the Great One was the most tragic. He plucked the first chameleon off a reed and sent it to give humans the following message. Men must not die. By the words of the Great One, humans would become immortal. But unfortunately, this chameleon was slow and lazy in his journey, so the Great One grew very impatient. So he plucked a different lizard off a reed and sent it to give word to the humans. This lizard was quick and quickly arrived to give word to the humans. But unfortunately, he did not utter the same instructions. Instead, he said,
Men must die.
So from that day, humans became mortal. It is said that chameleons change color because their ancestors was not fast enough to spare humankind the invention of death.
That sounds just like our creation story. Just viewed from a different mountain.
Nog nooit.
Scam chameleons and snake-like goddesses.
Hang on, I understand the story. My people know Creator, Eo.
This story sounds very familiar, but also not. It is the strangest thing. But I had a dream last night, Uncle Eli. That's why I'm asking if it's about the ancient ways of our people.
So, what does this story have to do with anything?
Now hang on a minute. What are you hearing in the story?
Earth was formless. Darkness, where the great spirits dwelt.
Creator.
Life comes from seeds, and seeds multiply.
All nations from one ancestor, from one creator. They multiplied and spread into all the earth. He created everything.
Humans, nations, and animals.
Sun and moon, good and bad in the world?
Yeah, gifts were given to us. Humans were supposed to live forever.
But the lizard deceived them. Now they die, as so does everything else.
If this was the creation story, then it wasn't these lizards. It was a snake. True, my sister.
Are you sure about it?
Let me show you in my Bible. No, let me show them in my modern Bible. You know, I've got this YouVersion app. Been doing it for 2 weeks. It's beautiful. So the Lord said to the serpent, "Cursed are you above all the livestock and wild animals. You will crawl on your belly and you will eat the dust of the earth all the days of your life." You see? Wys vir hulle.
If it was a snake, why would the curse be that he would crawl on his belly?
A snake with legs. Pretty much a picture of a lizard, I'd say.
Oh, well, it's a lot of hocus pocus if you ask me.
Well, it's just a story after all. Where is the science?
It's all around us, don't you see? It's everywhere. Ubaba umdali, 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 umdali wethu uyingonyama yethu uyasivikela. the Creator, the great lion who protects us and answers our prayers. And He is always with us, you know.
Ooh, so that's a gospel song.
Uyingonyama yethu, uyasivikela, noma kunini, uhlezi nathi. Uyasivikela, uyasiphendula, imithandazo yethu. Uyasivikela, uyasixolela, uyasivikela, uyasixolela, uyasivikela, uyasixolela, uyasivikela, uyasivikela, uyasixolela, noma kunzima siyathandaza. Uyingonyama yethu, uyasivikela, noma kunzima, uyasivikela, uyasixolela, noma kunzima.
It's a good thing we're in lockdown together because this is a super stress.
Listen here, if our borders and boundaries have been determined, the time and space, surely the land tells us stories for this crisis that we now find ourselves in.
Wait, did you just say that the land tells us stories?
Yes. Have you not heard how the earth cries because of all the innocent bloodshed? Perhaps there's a crying of the earth because of all the bloodshed. Yemen, Palestine, Afghanistan, Israel.
Cape Flats, do not forget about the Cape Flats.
Over 1,600 murders in the Cape Flats in just 6 months in 2009.
True. That was the worst year for my kids at school. You know, the sirens would go off for us to fall on the floor away from the line of fire. Terrible.
No wonder Cape Town nearly ran out of water.
Day zero.
Yeah, man, I heard Cape Town was going to be the first city in the world to ever run out of water. I was horrified. That actually reminds me, I had to cancel my Airbnb chalet in Clifton.
Airbnb. And you're not worried about the dying animal?
Or schools that had their tap switched off. You know, my kids had to bring water bottles to school because the department wouldn't allow any water.
But it didn't run out, did it?
Oh, no, you know what happened? Uncle Angus called a prayer gathering in Bloemfontein.
The
center of the country.
It was a time of great repentance and crying out to God to heal our land.
Over 1 million people from all over South Africa, the north, the south, the east and the west, on their knees, crying out for forgiveness for all sorts of things happening in South Africa.
Wow. Over 1 million people humbling themselves, turning away from their wicked ways, crying out to heaven. That's amazing.
Healing for the land must come.
Ooh, and it did. Let me tell you what happened on those as we were praying. There was a mighty rush of wind. Shortly after that, it started raining. Just a couple more months in the drought.
Broken. You know, there's so much we need to turn away from.
There's not much justice in the land right now. You know, the gap between the rich and the poor, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
True.
Sis toch, I wonder what our people are eating back home right now.
You know, there are enough resources in the world for all 7+ billion people.
Die woord sê,
Engels, English, English.
You know, the Great Commission was to go and show the people God's ways. But the very first commission was to multiply and spread into all the earth.
So people filling the earth would not be a surprise for my God, you know. We just forget the second part of that first commission, which is to steward and to cultivate the land.
We are the guardians of the land. It is up to us to steward it well.
Yeah.
And we are not stewarding the resources.
So true. You know, the rich are becoming richer and the poor are becoming poorer. And the middle class are being burdened by this gap, I tell you.
Basically, there are enough resources. Tina, we are greedy. We need to listen to the heartbeats of the land. Clues will be found in the print on the land. Focus on the beauty and the glory of the Lord. Clues will be found in the print on the land. Focus on the beauty and the glory of the Lord. If the First Nations do not take up their place, the earth will not heal and grow.
You talking about my people?
Yeah, bro.
Yes, and the Maori, the Aborigine, the Native American, all the First Nations.
We need to have an understanding of who we are. You know, there's different layers to this house, but the foundation, it must be right.
You know, and I don't see any space being made for the First Nations. First, the foundation nations understand the relationship with the land. It's for all nations.
And you know, if we are the first of the foundation, that must mean that others are meant to be part of the country. You know, it's time for us to work together. It's time for unity.
Yes. Second, third, fourth gives a whole nother view on xenophobia.
Yes, if you follow the Lord's commands, your land will flourish.
Yes, our hearts are built in a circle. It brings us together in unity.
My sisters, what are you doing as a First Nation? Do you acknowledge the Lord your God and that the earth and its fullness thereof belongs to Him so that you can take your rightful place?
We need to reconcile with the land.
Yes, and community is a key aspect to healing of the land.
That's right. You know, we cannot look to government to solve the issues of climate change in our communities. It is the responsibility of us as individuals to solve these issues. You know, it's like with this open, our people just want money from government.
But I refuse to be a slave to any government.
It's about education, you know. What are our children learning in school? You are a teacher. What do the children learn about community responsibility, let alone guardianship?
We need to understand it so that we can apply it. Communities where we work together. Please taste this, my darling. Government can help, but when it's our only source of help, we will not make it. That's why, you know, it's like when I ask my neighbor for a potato and I give them sugar, that is how we must look at solving the issues of climate change. You know, there's enough resources and knowledge to share and to grow. Yeah. May I ask you something? Do you recycle in your community? Recycle? What? The only thing we recycle is our big sisters' clothes.
So true, you know, she passes it on to me and then I pass it on to my baby sister and then we keep it in the cupboard for whoever comes.
Yes, it's a generational
Yeah.
But you see, we ignore these things. We can create initiative ways to recycle. We need to work together as one.
Yes, that's true. We need to reconcile back to the land. We shouldn't wait for others to do the job. It is in our hands. What are we doing about it?
Hey, imagine Ubuntu, not just for South Africans. It should apply to all, person to person, nation to nation, generation to generation.
So you are because of Opa Ben and I am because of you. And so it goes on and on, you know, generation to generation.
We do not honor and appreciate where these resources come from. There's the tree. It gives me shade for shelter under the sun. It gives me oxygen to breathe. It gives me wood for fire. We know Ubuntu, but we do not extend it to nature. The only way we can understand Ubuntu with the earth is to understand our relationship with the rest of creation.
I am because you are. We need to look for solutions. Not for money, but for stewardship.
You know, during my time with Doctors Without Borders, I have seen so many NGOs applying for money but without a plan, as if the plan is going to fall onto their laps because now they've got money.
And do we really need so much plastic? You know, have we thought about the generations to come? You know, it's that solution thing you guys were discussing. You know, we should think of solutions to get rid of plastic, yeah? And I know for me personally, like whenever I fly abroad, you know, I don't use paper bags whenever I go shopping. I should have it more here at home, yeah?
Dis daar nog 'n ou boom. Why not use material bags? Ek het my checker sakkie gereis. And whenever I fly abroad, carbon emissions.
You cannot save the world on an empty stomach, my friend. Supper is served. Tonight we're having wonderful curry from our friend Priyanka.
And tomorrow, we will make biryani.
Where are we going to get spices in this place?
So proceed.
Let's eat.
This takes me back to
Woo! Guys, that fire's really making me homesick, guys.
Those winter nights around the jelly block.
I also grew up on a farm.
Yes.
And I always loved making fire in our kitchen wood oven.
No, I couldn't imagine all that smoke in that house.
Well, it goes out the chimney like any other. And it was around the glow of the wood oven that I found my interest in medicine and helping nations. The interesting part is my father would have us sit around and read the World Book Encyclopedia.
Wait, the whole encyclopedia?
The whole encyclopedia.
Wow.
And it all happened during the cold winter nights. It's amazing how fire can be so comforting, yet so destructive.
Did you see the fire on Table Mountain?
Yes, and Australia.
So devastating to all those animals.
Yeah, all the tortoises, they got swept by the fire.
And all the little koalas, the kangaroos. Shame, and all the houses that burned down.
Oh, terrible.
It doesn't need to be that way, you know? Perhaps the voice of our indigenous people should be heard. The people of the land understand the circle of life.
Ingwenyama, ingwena mabala. Ingwenyama, ingwena mabala. Ingwenyama, ingwena mabala. Ingwenyama, ingwena mabala. Ingwenyama, ingwena mabala.
Yes, now we need the fire to release the seeds of our plants, your rainbows, to bring new life.
We need this fire. All the devastating fire.
Yes, they also know how to control it and what needs to be put in place to contain it.
I wonder why the voice of the indigenous people is not being heard. You know, ancient ways, ancient medicine, those are the few solutions to the many problems. As die vaak nog gegaan? I can't wait so long.
And do we really need a whole pig and a spit? You know, it's quite barbaric.
A cultural experience, is it not?
And cultural it is now. Let me tell you a story. Where are these children's? Please come help me tell this story. You see, the sun in the Kalahari tracks the animals for days.
Wanneer was jy dan in die Kalahari?
Jy weet mos ek vat die kinders elke jaar. Come children. So, they feel the dust of the land. And what do they find? A rabbit.
But the rabbit is very small. It can't fit the whole family.
Exactly. So they follow the spoor of the rabbit. And they feel the dust of the land, and the next thing they find is a A fox. But we shouldn't be eating the fox.
But the fox will lead us to other animals.
Exactly. This is why I take the two of you with me. But they don't want the fox, so they continue to follow the spoor of the fox. They feel the dust of the land, and the next thing they find is a snake. Dis 'n volstruis, 'n ostrich. Volstruis, ja, niks op plek en wie gaan uitroep? But they don't want the ostrich. So they continue. They follow the spoor of the ostrich. And they finally find what they are looking for. The antelope. But before the antelope gets shot, the antelope looks the hunter in the eye and gives it permission so they can take its life, so they may have food to live. Now watch this.
We were not meant to just randomly kill animals without purpose.
Yes, it's that Ubuntu thing with creation you were talking about. Man has become irresponsible.
Irresponsible, but stewards.
Yes, men are terrible.
Oh, you know, man.
Man is in mankind.
Look at how our legs are suffering.
Yes, and the other day when I was at the beach, I found a dead fish being eaten by the seagull. But it had swallowed a large plastic bag.
You know, our seas are being stripped and polluted. Sea levels and temperatures are rising. It is the lack of stewardship.
There was one ancient way of cultivation that we have forgotten. Our indigenous people know of these ways, but the world is trying to get them to forget.
There is a natural cycle. But have we been kicked out of the circle of life? Have we stepped outside the circle? Can we survive outside the circle?
Rivers do not drink their own water. Trees do not eat their own fruit. Clouds do not swallow their own rain. What great ones have is always for the benefit of others.
Yes, I agree with you, my darling. It's not that the earth is not strong enough. Climate change is a trauma response of the earth to the abuse, I tell you.
So true, eh? So for the future, we need to teach principles of climate change and not just action. Principles of stewardship.
We have forgotten what our relationship with the land is. We think we exist apart from it, but in actual fact, we need to know that we come from it.
Yes, when God looked around and saw there was no one to look after it, He made man. We need to have a rekindling of our relationship with the land.
It's true, and we have lost it. We need to find ways again to live in unity with the land.
You know, God has written these natural laws of the universe. You know, what goes up, it must come down. And when we separate these natural laws from spiritual laws, issues of righteousness and justice, you know, looking after the poor and the needy, then it will result in a cursed land, drought, famine, and desert.
Natural disasters.
Premature death and no fruitfulness.
Barrenness.
Nature dying.
Conflict and oppression.
We should be planting more trees and not burning it, hey?
I can already see it. Speedboom on every skyscraper in the city.
You know, the one who plants the tree is not necessarily the one who will enjoy its shade.
Yes, that is a very good one. You plant the tree and I enjoy its shade.
Now listen, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today, when I'm sons.
Yebo, nahas ala today.
today, plant a tree.
I remember one of my Chinese colleagues telling me that a flower you plant may not necessarily bloom, but a seed of a tree you happen to drop may grow into a forest. Very wise, that one.
And it's like our father always say, when the shadow of a tree is bent, straighten the tree and not the shadow. I wonder if we have been focusing on the shadow of climate change.
Well, there's gonna be a climate summit with all the world leaders soon.
Yeah, and at least there's a lot of awareness, in the media, so...
To talk much and arrive nowhere is the same as climbing a tree to catch a fish.
Yes, it's not the monkey on top that make the tree fall. It's the work and effort of the numerous ants and insects.
And he is a fool who praises the fruit of a tree, but forgets its roots.
Monkeys do not advise the young ones to be careful on trees. They just remind them of the distance to the ground. People need to understand what the consequences will be if we do not steward the earth. I'm telling you that.
And imagine in a perfect world, what would things look like? We get the mandate to steward the earth. And then what? We cultivate as we are supposed to. What would things look like?
Let me dream of hope and a better place, of life in this open space. Let me dream of hope and a better place, of life in this open space. Let me dream of hope and a better place of life in this open space.
People spread across the earth, farmers, city dwellers both. Surely there are answers for energy to last. Sun, wind and water, recycled plastic paper, compost gas or surely even grass.
Let me dream of hope and a better place of life in this open space. Let me dream of hope and a better place of life in this open space.
Land will give
abundance of life,
provision of food,
all we need,
less disease,
none at all, or at least a cure from nature's deep.
rotation of land,
Time for rest,
renewal of life,
we do our best,
resources used
without greed, to fill our need, to fill our need. We have enough to fill our need.
Let me dream of hope and a better place of life in this open space. Let me dream of hope and a better place of life in this open space.
Tribes spread out with access to land, every tribe, tongue and clan to cultivate, fill the earth. The first commission at our birth, return ourselves to original intent, identity whole reflecting what's meant, innovation from each land, water back in a cookie cutter.
Let me dream of hope and a better place of life in this open space. Let me dream of hope and a better place of life in this open space.
on a greater
Land and all,
one generation
to the next,
teaching our
to
children
the stewards of life, all creation will fall. This is our fight. Let me dream of hope and a better place of life in this open space. Let it be a vision, not a dream, a reality from this day. Is it possible? Is it possible? What I know is that I need to have the faith. Yes, it's possible.
Yes, it's possible. What I know is that I need to have the faith. I need to have the faith. I need to have the faith. I need to have the
Well, the ingulube is gonna fall off the spit. Do you guys want to eat or not? Asamben?
Of course.
Let's
Let the elders dish first.
Where's the young guys? Anyone's young?
Oh, yo, I'm so sorry. I just had a call. The door is opening. We can go home now.
Man, we can't go home just yet. We're just getting to know one another. When will we ever have this at home?
You know, we should really make more of an effort to get to know each other back home too.
Yes, so true. You know, when we have a common enemy, it's easier to get along. Just stand together as one.
Yeah, man. And never did I imagine that being like this would be such an incredible experience. You know, I'm really gonna miss it, man.
I know. Just say it. Say it.
I'm really gonna miss you all.
We are going to miss you too. But don't worry, we'll come visit up then.
Come on, everybody, grab a plate. Let's eat. The food is getting cold.
Ooh, before we eat, come, let's hold hands in Thanksgiving. Yes, this might be our very last opportunity.
Yes, true. We definitely won't be holding hands when we get back home. Social distancing and all.
You know, I'd hate to say it, but I had a great time with you old people.
Natasha, please pass me that plate.
Oh,
this is beautiful.
Oh, yo, too much paprika.
It's important to know the time and season that we are in. So much tragedy and loss, but much grace and gain. Can I feel the rhythm of the earth, the heartbeat of the land? To every time there's a season, a time and place